Hello everyone, today we're talking about Gilette's ad, the best a man can be. In the commercial launch by Gilette, the best a man can be showed the damage that toxic masculinity causes in our society and how it affects men and women. And in the same way, an achievable solution is proposed in the commercial. Gilette uses rhetorical elements to communicate this idea through all the commercial. In the present analysis, the context in which it was developed and how the commercial plays with rhetorical elements such as kairos, ethos, logos, and pathos will be reviewed. The Gilette ad, The Best a Man Can Be, was released in 2019. The official premiere was in the Super Bowl, so it actually had a wide audience radius. A lot of people watched the Super Bowl, and then there is also the audience that saw it in digital reels, even to the fact that Gillette, according to the brand's website, seeks to help men look, feel, and be better every day, sells razors and products for men. This time, its commercial also hit women as well as a target audience. Regarding the reception of the video, it can be said that the video caused a lot of controversy and some rejection, as it is a video with most dislikes on YouTube. The context in which it was launched was at the time when the rise of the Me Too movement was in its peak. Basically, this movement made harassment visible and put on the table the conversation of how toxic masculinity was affecting the lives of women and men. This was the time at what society was questioning if the established things about gender were right. At that time where people were touched by this movement, because even the world-class actress has suffered from the havoc that machismo had caused in our society. It was a time when the visibility of the feminist movement was incredibly high, and empathy with each other was the relief of those who suffer abuse and help them lift weapons against injustice as a collective. In this rhetorical situation, Gilette tries to visualize that the macho attitudes of 30 years ago cannot have place in today's world. It tries to link itself with the values of the epoch, such as gender equality, feminism, the visualization of violence, and it also proposes a way to do it to address the problem, the man. And that is why they began an advertisement campaign of social responsibility, in which they changed the slogan of the best that man can get from the best that a man can be. In the ad, they show us that the way to really do something about it is not just to simply be good individually and turn a blind eye to other men that are committing abuse, but to correct each other. The video, through different clips, tries to show the damage that machismo causes in society, and through images and well-structured dialogue that touches feelings and makes members of society feel identified with the problem, managed to visualize the problem of machismo and provide a solution to it by trying to avoid toxic masculinity. This commercial is especially aimed at Generation Z and millennials to show them through their example and actions that a better world and society can be created. And as it visualizes the problem of gender inequality, and it also aimed to men, women, and mothers and fathers of the world to teach their children to take correct attitudes, even if it's different from those they have always been taking, because the boy watching today will be the man of tomorrow. The element of kairos was well used because it was the right moment, basically due to the high point that this Me Too movement has achieved at that time and the position that women had in society. Because men at that moment could stand up, and the position that women had in society, because women at that moment could stand up and point out in society what was affecting them. The moment when the feminist movement was stronger than ever, the moment when society was tired of the consequences of toxic masculinity, sexual harassment, domestic violence, and gender inequality. I would like to analyze the rhetorical elements that Gillette uses in the ad to convey this message. To begin with, I would like to analyze the intrinsic ethos of the ad in the act of the communication. The narrator of the commercial maintains a strong but not intimidating tone with a perfect diction and accurate pauses, which gives you credibility and respect. Also, the narrator let the viewer answer these questions asked in the art, in their head. This makes you feel respect, and that causes that the previous feelings of respect and credibility you had in the narrator start to rise. Regarding to the centric ethos, the brand makes use of the experience and time that the brand has provided over time to make its vision of the problem credible. Because Gillette has been in this for 30 years and can give a testimony of it before, during, and after the display of it in society. In addition, the eccentric ethos of the art is increased by the fact that Gillette is a well-known brand all around the globe. So the recognition, the history, and the temporal space that the brand has survive in the market in some way and change their ethos. Analyzing the logos in the commercial, it follows a sequence of logical clips to convey the messages. In the beginning of the commercial, we hear three words in the background. We hear bullying, balance, and toxic masculinity, followed by the news that talks about sexual harassment and the Me Too movement. Through the commercial, you can see clips that show inappropriate behavior of men, such as bullying, cyberbullying, violence, sexual harassment, which visualize the problems generated by ignoring these behaviors, with the excuse that boys will be boys.
Boys will be boys.
And after that, it shows us a logical situation to the problem in sequence of the commercial shots, in which by stopping that action and pointing it out that it's inappropriate, we can stop it. It also gives us a super deep impulse to action because in the last line of the script it says that the children who are watching today are the men of tomorrow. And that's just logical because children learn from what they see and hear and then reproduce it when they are adults. Now, moving to pathos, it seems that this commercial is very attached to the emotional power of people, and it is what helps them to identify with the situation experienced in the commercial. The video from the beginning to end puts you in doubt as to whether the system will how society works. It also makes you feel some pain and sadness when seeing the direction in which society is going, but somehow it restores hope in that we can build something better again. At the beginning of a clip, it also makes us feel a little bit removed from the problem by showing us people and not from 30 years ago and clips on TV. They are elements that are not in our day-to-day reality. It makes us see the problem from an outsider's perspective in order to make reality more digestible. So in that way, we can somehow judge those actions in a harsher way because it is easier to do that from the outsider point of view than from the viewer's point of view. But then that involves us in our reality by showing us more clips that usually happen in our context and our reality, like the clip of the pool party, like the vertical clip of the father telling the gear to be strong, like this gear walking the street and getting macho compliments. These are things that happen to us, and they somehow make us aware that even today we can and must improve. And it is at this point that the music becomes super dramatic, emotional, and that makes you somehow, with the previous clips, enter in the commercial and leave the pain behind of being a broken society to embrace the hope that change causes, because we can change. We can fix this. That's the message that this part conveyed. To sum it up, Gilette in their art tries to visualize the problems that toxic masculinity causes in our society, making incredible use of rhetorical appeals, and even the moment was at which it was salient was good. But Gilette didn't have the reception that would have been taught. This is maybe because society sometimes feels reject for their heroes, and not just society. It is difficult for everybody to admit that they have committed a mistake. However, it is necessary to recognize the mistakes that we have made in order to improve our situation. men need to recognize that even if they are not like the men in the video, they have seen this kind of men in their lives at least once. They have to recognize the damage that those guys do to society, and should try to stop each other from that actions, because as the video shows, men can treat women correctly as human beings and not just as like objects. We need to visualize the problem, recognize the faults that provoke it, and try to make a change to start a new war, because if we can at least change a little, there is hope for tomorrow's war. Because boys that are watching today will be the men of tomorrow.